You said you need these up here for you? No, you need those up here.
The markers?
Yeah.
I'm not used to that.
What's up, YouTube? So should be. I sent those to you.
Did it go on, Coach?
All right, yes it is. We're ready to give him our attention here.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our first day of Health and Wellness. I'm Mr. Heiselman, for those of you that don't know me. I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you this semester. But to start out the year, we are going to be talking about something called health and wellness. We're going to give you guys an overall spectrum of what we're going to be discussing this semester. So one way that wellness can be defined in particular is the state of being in good health, especially as a pursued goal. Okay? So before we get into this, I want you guys to you guys are going to pair up, but I want you guys to take a couple seconds to think about what health and wellness means to you, wellness in particular. I want you guys to kind of focus on these questions. So what are the different kinds of wellness, if there are any? What impacts do they have on your lives in particular? And then does one form of wellness impact another form of wellness, and if so, how? So just take a couple seconds to think about that, and then I want you guys to pair up with somebody in your general region and then discuss it for about a minute or two, okay? Alright, so now we've come together as a class. Now that you guys have talked amongst your peers about it, I kind of want to hear what you guys discussed real quick. So like a couple things from each group. So we can start over here with Seth and Leslie. What did you guys talk about?
We talked about how wellness can have an impact on your mental health
Okay.
as well as physical.
As physical, so both sides of the spectrum there. Eric and Austin?
We kind of said the same thing. We, there's one affect the other. So your spiritual health can have a big effect on your mental health based on your different beliefs. That can change how your mental reason for doing things.
Awesome.
So we didn't really know what the different types of wellness were. We thought it was like physical, mental, social.
Yeah, that's a couple of them there. So I mean, yeah, so you guys are on the right track there, which is what we're looking for. I wasn't really expecting you guys to know what all the dimensions were right off the bat. That's actually what we're going to talk about today. This semester we're going to be hammering down on the 8 dimensions of wellness. We're going to watch a quick video on it real quick, and to give you guys a better insight for those of you that actually don't know what they are. You don't have to have any prior knowledge of this, so no worries. That's what we're going to discuss today, considering that the entire semester we're going to be focusing on these 8 dimensions, okay? So if you guys can just pay attention to this video and then just listen to what the 8 dimensions are and a little bit about each of them, and then we'll get into it a little bit deeper right after.
And making choices toward a healthy and fulfilling life. Wellness is more than being free from illness. It's an ongoing process of change and growth. There are 8 dimensions of wellness: emotional, environmental, financial, intellectual, occupational, physical, social, and spiritual. Each dimension of wellness is interconnected with the others, and all are equally important in the pursuit of optimal health. One can reach an optimal level by understanding how to maintain and improve each dimension and by creating balance. Understand your feelings. Express them to people you trust and maintain a positive outlook. It's important to pay attention to self-care, relaxation, stress reduction, and the development of inner resources so you can learn and grow through your experiences. Find surroundings that encourage good physical and mental health, and also where you feel safe. A positive environment has a calming effect. Environmental wellness inspires us to live a lifestyle that is aware and respectful of our surroundings. Make it a point to understand your finances. Money plays a critical role in our lives, and not having enough impacts health as well as academic performance. Establish good financial habits and plan for the future. Be a lifelong learner by expanding your knowledge and finding creative outlets that stimulate your mind and sense of curiosity. Be open to new ideas, insights, and wisdom. Actively participate in scholastic, cultural, and community activities. Look for satisfaction from things you're passionate about, whether they are part of work, school, or volunteering. Find ways to engage in occupational endeavors and feel appreciation for the value in your contributions. Reduce your risk from many illnesses by increasing activity levels according to your abilities. Get restful sleep at night, choose healthy foods, and explore the outdoors to reduce stress and increase energy levels. A sense of belonging and a reliable support system help during difficult times. Make at least one social connection daily. Seek advice from peers or support groups, and create healthy friendships. Enhancing your connections to self, nature, and others brings balance and peace to your life. Disconnect from distractions and be mindful. Discover what values and beliefs are most important to you. Striving to maintain or make small improvements to the 8 dimensions of wellness is the key to your overall health. The pursuit of continued growth and balance in the 8 dimensions of wellness will lead to a better quality of life. In this module, you will explore each dimension and how nutrition plays a vital role in being the best you.
Alright, so that's just a little insight into the 8 dimensions there. Who can reiterate and explain to me what the 8 dimensions of wellness are? Give me a couple.
Physical,
Alright, no. Physical,
mental, or is it intellectual?
intellectual,
Educated.
Social, financial, occupational. Sorry, spiritual.
Environmental.
and one more. So starts with the emotional. Correct. Alright, so we are gonna utilize this video. I like that video a lot because it's really short and it gives you guys really good insight into what the 8 dimensions are at a very basic level. So we're gonna run a little activity here. So I'm gonna have you guys stand up and then push in your chairs. You guys probably utilize this activity in like a different class. Usually people use it for like icebreakers or like a food game or something like that. So basically we're gonna play it just like that, where I'm gonna give you guys two options. So I'm gonna give you guys, for example, the first one is gonna be emotional and financial, and you guys are gonna pick the dimensional wellness that means the most to you, or that you think is like a stronger dimension that you need in your life. So for the first one, if you think that emotional wellness, you're gonna go to the left side of the room, my right side. And then if you think that financial is more important to you, then you're gonna go to the opposite, okay? So emotional, yeah, emotional, financial. Leslie, how are you saying that emotional is important?
I think your emotions have a larger, can have a larger impact on your financial status.
Okay, perfect. All right, so the next one is going to be intellectual over here and spiritual on this side. Perfect. Seth, why did you say that spiritual is more important to you than intellectual?
I just believe your values and beliefs can be more than, I don't know, if you know more than somebody else, I guess.
Awesome.
If you know intellectually.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yep. So that's why I'm on this side too. I agree with you completely. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion, so you guys don't have to stay on the same side as your peers. Okay. Thank you, Seth, for moving over like that. Next, we have social and occupational. Amanda, why are you saying that social is more important?
You have to have good interactions with people and be respectful to everyone if you want to like get through life. Otherwise, you'll end up in jail or something.
Fair. Yep. All good points. All right, and then the last one is going to be physical and environmental. See some very common trends here. Wonders, why do you say that physical is more important than environmental?
I guess it's basically based off of my own personal experiences and opinion that I'm just a more fit person, and being active is just more my lifestyle.
Awesome. Yep. So this last one that we're gonna do, it's gonna get a little bit more tricky. So we're gonna have 4 corners of the room, okay? So we're gonna do occupational wellness, social wellness, physical wellness, and intellectual. Okay? You need me to repeat those one more time?
Can you say it one more time?
Sure thing. Occupational on the far left. Social over here by the computer. Physical over by the door. And then intellectual in the back by coach.
Do what's back there?
Physical. Okay, Brooke.
I think it's more important to have like social wellness because it depends like how you interact with everyone, and if you can't interact with people, it affects everything else.
Okay. Perfect. Wonders, just sticking with the physical?
Yeah. I also think that having a healthy body is very important to having a healthy mind as well. So being physically fit, and not like a perfectly physically fit person, but being able to use your body as well as your mind is very important.
Awesome. I like how we touched base on how the physical wellness aspect kind of plays a role in other types of other types of the dimensions of wellness, which is what we're going to talk about here in a second. And that's a really key and important factor when we're talking about the 8 dimensions of wellness, is how they interact with each other, and how for some people certain dimensions of wellness can influence other dimensions a lot more than others, for other individuals. Okay. So you can take your seats. And then we're going to do a quick PowerPoint, just so you guys don't have to listen to me talk too much. And I'm going to kind of help you guys take the, basically the values or the factors that play a role in each dimension from the video, and kind of relate them or articulate them together, and also to like real world application, okay? And like I said, it'll be really quick, and then we will get on to the next activity to better help you guys understand. Alright, so we have 8 dimensions of wellness. So the first dimension of wellness that we are going to talk about is emotional wellness. So the 3 factors that the video gave us were self-care, stress reduction, and relaxation. Okay? So can somebody tell me how self-care, stress reduction, and relaxation play a role in emotional wellness in a real-world situation? Amanda.
I think it was yesterday, we were talking about stress, and like the effects it can have on the body. So I think it's really like important to have those methods to like de-stress yourself.
Perfect. Yep. So stressful situations, things like exams, quizzes, time conflicts. A lot of you are athletes in this room, so things like that. Basically, trying to manage your time properly, but also maintain high academic standards. That's a really stressful scenario that all of you put yourselves through on a daily basis. So it's important to have emotional wellness and keep that balance in your life. So basically, you can keep those stress levels down, and you can use it as more of a eustress, and basically use it to better yourself. Go outside of your comfort zone and be able to handle certain situations a lot better emotionally. Really good. The next one is environmental wellness. I noticed that that was not one of the key wellness factors for a lot of you guys when we just did that short activity. The 2 factors that the video gave were positive and calming environments. I feel like a lot of you might not have thought about that prior to. Before I studied these, I didn't really think about, I was basically thinking about things like being out in the woods and outdoors and stuff like that. However, your environment is not just that kind of, your environment is basically whatever makes you feel comfortable, okay? For some people, yes, it is being out in the woods, outdoors, stuff like that, being like one with nature, but it can also be things as simple as being in a library, separating yourselves from group work or different types of scenarios where there's a very big social aspect. Some people are very introverted, some people are very extroverted. So environmental factors that play a role is basically just getting yourself in a positive and calming environment that suits you individually the best. So for example, exams coming up, things like that. Some of you might want to study with your peers and prepare together. Some of you might want to isolate yourselves and basically focus individually. That's why environmental wellness plays a really big role in the 8 dimensions. So just kind of food for thought when we're kind of going over these types of activities. The next one is financial wellness. Everybody knows you guys are going to be going off to college in a couple years. Financial wellness is going to be a big aspect of your lives. Especially considering that the factors that it gave were it impacts your health and your academics. Okay, so you're also currently students. The majority of you most likely intend to go on to obtain a college degree, which is why financial wellness is so important. Can somebody tell me why not having good finances might throw your overall health off or your overall academics off, or having the flip side of it, having good finances could impact those positively? Amanda?
Poverty is a huge problem worldwide. And so it's just like a endless cycle. Like if you don't have money, you can't buy food, you can't pay the rent, and you end up homeless and hungry.
And how might that influence some of the other factors of wellness? Coach?
If you don't have financial wellness, you might be working extra jobs, bringing on extra stress loads, which could impact your health negatively over long-term periods of time, as well as have less time to focus on your academics, which you might be working hard just to pay for that.
Correct. So, like Coach said, and then going a little bit deeper, financial wellness. If you have like a low socioeconomic status, or you're struggling with debt, things like that, it can affect things like your emotional wellness because you're taking on all those added stressors of trying to work those extra jobs, make that extra money to be able to basically stay afloat. It can impact things like environmental wellness based on your living standards and things like that. So that's kind of how that plays a role in the other dimensions of wellness. It's very important, especially as you start to grow up and then you guys reach like an adulthood stage. Okay. The next one, talking a little bit more about academics, intellectual wellness. So the factors that the video gave were scholastic, cultural, and community. How might the cultural factor be an influence in intellectual wellness? Amanda?
You want to be well informed on like not just your own culture. That's like very selfish or like self-centered. You want to be respectful to all cultures and understand their values so you're not disrespecting anyone.
Exactly. Like we've been talking about, individualism is a huge thing, especially in today's society, and especially living where we are. being able to diversify your knowledge amongst the different types of cultures that you see in even the simple things like your friends that you go to school with, especially when you get to college. That's going to be a huge factor for you as people coming from lots of different kinds of backgrounds, and being able to educate yourself and have a higher level of intellectual wellness will help you feel safer. It'll help you with emotional wellness because you'll better be able to handle with that diversification that you guys are going to go up against in life. So it'll help you with the other dimensions as well. It'll help you in the community, knowing what's going on, not just like here within the high school or around your home, but knowing what's going on like in the state as a whole, even worldwide. Like community is a huge factor when it comes to intellectual wellness, being able to know what's going on around you and how it influences and impacts your life. Scholastic, as we talked about with financial, that's one of the factors that can influence intellectual wellness as well. It lowers your grades, so being able to focus and hone in on intellectual wellness, being able to study at the proper times, not having to worry about time management, those types of things can also help raise your intellectual wellness. Occupational wellness. So we have work, school, and volunteering for this. Why do you think that occupation, we've talked about financial wellness and how like that's a factor, taking the finance side of having a job away, why is it important to have occupational wellness?
Like a stable job, that can help with financial health.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so, oh, go ahead.
I don't know what to say.
Okay, yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, so having a stable job, something that, an occupation that makes you happy. A lot of times in society, people go for the jobs that have higher paying salaries and not the jobs that have a higher, basically like, outcome in terms of wellness. You want to love what you do, okay?